Good morning everybody, and this is your Forex day trade setups for today. And we're starting off with Euro USD as usual. So we are bottom of this consolidation area here. You can see it goes back a number of weeks. We're going all the way back to 3rd of December. Around the 3rd of December when this sideways drifting motion started. So looking at this on the 8 hour, this week we've had a retest of the moving averages, and the moving averages have pointed to the downside. This does look like the confirmation of a trend reversal, and yesterday's is looking like an exhaustion bar, to be quite honest, at the moment. So in other words, we're coming up to a level here where I would expect some buying to come in and just drive the price back up. But that being said, I think the trend overall has switched. It's been a little bit of touch and go the last day and a half. So most of yesterday was pretty much all over the place, and then we had this sell-off, which is basically based on the Fed's speech, where they're staying a little bit, well, they're still staying very dovish. So that's what the sell-off was at the moment. The question is it going to continue? I think it does look like we are looking for dollar strength at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna say that with a disclaimer at this stage. I want to see a clear break below the bigger structure. So if you start looking at the bigger structure on the weekly, which I should have actually done this before starting the video, so we just have to wait a little bit and wait for the data. Okay, so looking at the weekly, you can see, we are in a very strong uptrend. Now look at my oscillators at the moment. They are sort of coming off a high on the weekly, so you can see whenever you have a weekly high with these oscillators, you can see what happens with this pair. But tails to the downside, tail to the upside, big confusion, and then we've got this major break to the downside. Just look to the left what is here. You can see there's a massive amount of support right here at 118.781. So, on the weekly, is this trend up, sideways, trend up, retracement, move up, or is it going to be a complete meltdown? So I don't think it's going to be a complete meltdown at the moment. I think just keep that in mind. You've got, you do have a fairly strong level at 118.781. So at the moment it's short. So you're looking to sell off the pullbacks, and at the moment the closest pullback for that entry is going to be here. That is 119.913, and bear in mind you've got non-farm payrolls today, so be very careful with dollar pairs. US dollar, Japanese yen, this thing is one-way traffic. It is heading to the upside. You're looking to buy into this, no debate about that at the moment. So where would be a decent area? This area down here is obviously a fairly decent area, so that's 107.110. So that's the current area that I'd be looking at. Is another micro level down here at 107.366. Now, just a word of warning, with non-farm payrolls, what can happen is you can have a massive spike down onto structure where the buyers step in and it moves up. So I'm of the opinion, and I often do this, but to put a small position in at one of these major levels. Why I say small is because you're going to have to give a very, very wide stop. So you put in a position at an area where it is really far from price. So if it does sort of spike down to that area, especially when you're in a strong uptrend like this, you know that there's buyers coming in there, and that you sort of jump in there and ride the retracement back to the upside. So that's kind of the view that I've got on this at the moment. There's nothing up here that's indicating where we need to get in long. The signals are down here. Okay, so it's 107.110. British pound, Japanese yen. Lots of levels on this chart. Let's just clean that up. Don't think we need to pay attention to them at the moment. Right now what I'm seeing is a potential double top with diversions. So I don't want to be long up here. Don't want to be short either. I only want to be short on the break. So at the moment, strong move up. Then the US data, which well, it wasn't data yesterday, it was just noise, which basically impacted the what was that? Impacted the pound, and now we're sideways again. So just look at yesterday. I said to you, London breakout strategy, 7 bars, we're in an uptrend. If we get the break the upside, you've got a fairly good trade the upside. That's exactly what transpired, except for this section here, which would have just frustrated you, because tail up, tail down, big up, big down, big confusion. But this trend on the hour is up, so you're looking to buy in on this. Where are you looking to buy in right now? It's pretty much been done this morning, 149.685. I would take London breakout strategy again. So first 7 1-hour bars, that's the bottom at the moment. And then what I typically do is just put another level on the top. That's my range. As soon as I get a break and retest on either side, I'm looking to trade it. Because we're in an uptrend, I'm only really looking to be long. So I'm looking for a break above the range, retest, long it is, for a move to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there is the upside. Come down to 15. So that was, this bar here was the close of the range, and you can see we've got a couple of closes above it in an upward trend. So you've got two choices. You take it on the break of one of these bars. It would have frustrated you a bit, but your stop is below the low of the day. So your risk, essentially what you're looking for, is something like that and there. So yes, you have a fairly wide stop loss, 544 points, but you're looking for 544 points to the upside. And you can see this area here is where the range traders started taking their profit. Okay. The other way that you could have done that, if you've got to close above it, you've got to ignore the pin bars in this kind of structure, and you're looking for a retest. Often it comes back to a retest of 50% of the range. So if we do that, that was my London range. So from here, 7 hours to here, and you can see back to 50% of that range. Bang on, right there. Bang. That would have been another entry. So that's actually sometimes a much better entry. You wait for the 50% retest. You just put a limit order in there with a stop below. So your risk is 250 instead of 500 points. Okay. Anyway, that's just a little bit of useless information. You can see exhaustion bar onto the top of the range. And then there are extensions of the range. I don't have them drawn in, but you've got the 161 extension of the range. So in other words, range plus 61.8. Then you've got 2 times the range, and so on and so on. Okay, anyway, that's just a bit on London breakout strategy. It does work on British pairs very often. So if I just do the same setup at the moment, I say there's my current range. Obviously I need to wait for the 7 hours, but that's what it is currently. I need a 5 or a 10 or a 15 minute break and close above the top to trigger the signal. That's the rule. Okay, Aussie dollar, US dollar. Are we continuing to the downside, or are we finding support? I think this one is not as clear as what US dollar, Japanese yen is. And Euro USD is not that clear either. So this and Euro USD is pretty much the same. Again, with this pair, non-farm payrolls, I think I'd rather be on the yen, Japanese US dollar, Japanese yen, rather than this right now. So hindsight being a perfect science, yesterday, double top, should have triggered a short, agreed, but the trigger for my short would have been here. There was no retest, no trigger. Second signal would be a break there, but my stop needs to be up here. I'm not prepared to take that risk, so that didn't work. So at the moment I'm looking for a retest. So first retest is 077524 for a continuation to the downside. This is also an area I pay attention to, 077381, and then ultimately I would like to see this kind of structure here at 077681. So it does look like we have a bit of a downward trend forming. We were down, retraced, sideways, down. So it does look that way, but I'm wary of this pattern here, inside bar, that is not a, how to put it, it's not really a setup that's conducive to a continuation to the downside. This gap is now closed, and I think these gaps typically close, especially on Forex markets as well. So this was a weekly gap, didn't break away. That gap is now closed proper. We'll have to wait and see what happens at non-farm payrolls this afternoon to see if we get some direction, or if we're just going to swing to the top and then just continue ranging here. And the way the American politicians are carrying on, they're all as confused as each other, so that wouldn't surprise me if that's what's going to transpire. Anyway, Euro British Pound. So this one is fairly interesting. We had that massive move up in the 8 hour. Trend is still down, and now we just went sideways with a little bit of a break to the downside. I don't think there's much here at the moment. I think we are kind of trying to finish the down move. We're having another stab at getting it moving to the downside, but look at this barbed wire here. Up and below the moving average is never a good sign. Yesterday was the first signal where we had a retest here of moving averages, but I'm looking for a retest of structure, and that I have not had. Okay, so at the moment that's my retest. I don't like what I see. This is also pretty much looking like Aussie dollar, US dollar as well. This is looking like a structure for a move to the upside. Now, one thing to bear in mind, you know, I keep saying gaps always close. Look here. Can you see that little gap there? Okay, that's on the hour. And if we go down to something like the 15-minute, that's on the 25th of Feb. You should see the gap here. It's probably a little bit lower down. 25th of Feb. Give me a sec, guys. It's important, this. So we've got an hour gap, and you just want to see if you've got a lower gap here. Can't see it. It could be one of those difficult ones where the red bar is below the green bar, and there's a little gap on the bar, but there's definitely a gap here somewhere. And there's one there. You can see there's a gap there, but that was closed. Okay. Anyway, so the point I'm making is that you do, when you get these gaps on the smaller time frames, it can even go down to the 1 minute time frame, to be honest. Those gaps typically do close. When you see a gap on your hour chart like that one there, you know, there it is there. That is an indication that price is going to come back to there. Now, that being said, just look a little bit further. There's a tiny one here as well. No, that doesn't look like one, but there's definitely one here as well. Okay, so I'm not looking at the tails. I'm just looking at where the body closed. So, yeah, that's always an indication. So when you see structure, you can see the structure, and then you spot a gap. So let's put the level on the structure. There's a structure. Okay, price is coming down here. That's my target. But look at that. There's a little gap there. Let's just put that gap in as well. Look what happened. That's pretty much where they came to. You know, and other people look at it and they go, well, that's the structure there. Granted, possible, but not the way I play things. So now I'm looking at that. Otherwise, I look further left for the next level of structure. But anyway, that's just difference of opinions and different ways of trading it. But there you can see all three worked out. Doesn't matter how you looked at it. Okay, so I'm rambling here. This thing to me, definitely looking for opportunity. I'm not sure whether we should be out looking for opportunity to the downside or the upside right now. And that's just based on we're coming off this massive trend. Is this a double bottom forming? Obviously, we need to break above that swing high for that to be true. So on the 1 hour, go with the trend. Trend is down at the moment, looking for retracement onto structure and then a move. But this pattern that's forming here, not really a decent picture. So what could happen is we could bounce off and then come down onto this bit of structure and find support here. If you find support at 086221, then you're probably looking for a stronger move to the upside. British pound, New Zealand dollar, bit of a inverse head and shoulders here that's forming over there. We are, as I said yesterday, we are holding the moving averages. Moving averages starting to point to the upside. I'm a little bit concerned with the oscillators. We're coming up to an area which is indicating we need to be looking for a level, and we all know there's a level up here, right where price is. You can see, look left, there it is there. That is sitting at 193,700. So that's that on the higher time frames. On the lower time frames, trend is up. Okay, so we had this pullback onto structure right here. I missed this one. This is actually a pretty decent setup. Should have been paying attention to this. But anyway, it pulled back onto here, and then immediately we got a inside bar off a level, moving averages pointing up. That there on the hour was a fantastic signal right there. The break above that was your signal, and your stop was down here. So it's 483 point stop loss. And yeah, I suppose that would be in your target, 1,400 points. So 3-to-1 trade. Anyway, missed that one. But I would be looking for pullback on structure here. So just do this. That would be the first area, and that would be the second area there. So picking up that tail, picking up this tail. So, and there's a gap here. See the gap? Definitely looking for pullback into here. So that is 193,259. And if I just go to the 5 minutes quickly, hopefully I can highlight that gap. Okay, there it is there. See? There's the gap. Just look down the chart to see if you see any others. There's another little one over here, right on the structure. So that would be a fairly decent pullback, an opportunity to buy. So somewhere between 193,259 and 192,886 is an opportunity to buy, and hopefully this trend continues and we get the breakout through this level here. But be wary on the hour, you are in overbought territory right now. Okay, anyway guys, that's it for me. Very long-winded today. Hope it helped you somewhat, and we'll catch up with you later. Cheers for now.